There are difficult times and there are easy times, and there are times which tell us where to go and where to stay, and they also tell us how soon to walk and to run. But there are several things that we like to describe as heavenly album covers, and here we are. This is the third little video episode that we have done today, including this episode of heavenly album covers. And this is an album by the TORCHMEN. We're going to look at this album cover. We have tons and tons, a whole sheet of notes relating to this album cover because the TORCHMEN are worth it. And here are the TORCHMEN. Let's zoom in a little bit. And the TORCHMEN were from Canada, I believe, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 TORCHMEN, and they are sitting in looks like someone's dining room. I'm going to move this light so we can see the TORCHMEN a little bit better. They're wearing matching TORCHMEN outfits, light blue pants, and I don't see any light blue plants in the photograph, but they are wearing light blue pants. They all are very jolly looking, very happy. They have just completed a daytime concert in a church, and they went back to this dining room to just have a sip of Diet Coke, and they're real happy. And this album came out in 1981. It is the cover is framed by this stark light blue frame device. The lettering here at the top is a little bit clumsy, but it's still readable. And this album is called Coming Home. This album is dedicated to the several hostages that were taken in the late 1970s by Iran. And during this making of this album, the hostages were released, and this album is dedicated to the hostages that were released in 1980. And we can see the Iranian ambassador and his wife, Pat. This is Ken Taylor and his wife, Pat. Ken was the ambassador to Iran, and this whole album is like a concept album. It's like Tommy or Quadrophenia or Tales of Topographic Oceans. It is a concept album dedicated to the hostages of Iran that were released. And the singers on this album are Ian, Mike, John, and Walt. And this is the whole group with their musicians behind them. It looks like they're posing in front of a trailer with a tree here, and there's a helicopter going over, or it's a plane. I think it's a small plane is flying over the Heavenly Album Covers studio right now. And this album by the TORCHMEN is on Summit Sound Recordings, released in 1981. This is a TORCHMEN production. The photographs for this entire album were taken by Preston Haskell and Ian McCall, and the TORCHMEN believed that the release of the hostages from Iran was fulfilling biblical prophecy, and it was certainly nice that the ambassador to Iran in Canada and his wife were able to take this photograph with the TORCHMEN. And let's look at the TORCHMEN vinyl here, and there it is, Summit Sound. It's a beautiful black with white lettering, really gorgeous. And here are the TORCHMEN. They're enjoying cans of Diet Coke here. You can't see the cans. The cans are behind them, but they just finished a daytime concert in Ontario, and they came back to this dining room to enjoy some Diet Coke, and they all look very jolly. We will plug in some close-up photographs of the TORCHMEN in post-production And here are the TORCHMEN and their concept album devoted to the